I've been thinking about some of the things that America has done in my name, right, as an American, that I disagree with. Uh, I mean, you could talk about the Vietnam War. Was it justified? Was it necessary? There's two sides to that coin. How did that come about? I mean, why was there communism pushing down in that part of the world? Why was North Korea, why was that all communist and South Korea not? Why was Chairman Mao emboldened to expand this communism in China that led to the death of between 80 and 100 million people? And it could theoretically, it could go all the way back to that meeting in Yalta with FDR and Stalin and Winston Churchill, where FDR gave Stalin everything, Poland, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Hungary, essentially China, because that's who he emboldened. That's who Chairman Mao went over and modeled his authoritarian style off the Russian model, this with the expansion of communism, East Germany. I mean, Roosevelt literally threw millions and millions of people under the Iron Curtain, gave them everything. It was just so ignorant. That administration was so ignorant on what communism was. And this was all done in my name. Actually, I wasn't born, but I mean, Eisenhower putting nukes in Turkey. He got missiles. I'm talking missiles. They're putting missiles on the border of Russia. How would America like it if Russia went and put missiles in Mexico on the border of the southern border of America? We would be freaking out. And so that led to, well, actually, and JFK knew about this, and these missiles were still being deployed in 1961 and 1962. JFK greenlighted that whole thing. Don't let these JFK sycophants rewrite history, because the stuff that was coming out of his administration, the press releases about what was going on with the Cuban Missile Crisis, there was just literally just misinformation. So Kennedy's elected. He's greenlighting these nuclear missiles. We didn't even need them. The Jupiter missiles were so obsolete. We could have just used our submarines in the Mediterranean and had the same effect. So then, and he got sworn in January, and what was it? In like April, we had the Bay of Pigs. So Kennedy's blaming Eisenhower for the Bay of Pigs. Well, it was his plan. Well, you greenlighted it. You're just, rubber stamping everything. So the Bay of Pigs, we were going to invade a Russian ally and overthrow Castro, the government. Hold on a second. Yeah. What?
Is the chicken you gonna boil?
Yeah.
The other one?
Can you put that on simmer? So where was I? Bay of Pigs. Yeah, so, that was an utter failure. So Khrushchev was like, what's going on? You got nukes in my backyard. You're invading my ally, trying to overthrow. I got a little something for you. So he starts saying, okay, I'll go put nuclear missiles in your backyard, America. Let you go to sleep on the East Coast in October of 1962 and see how you like it. That was the closest we ever came to a nuclear war. And the next closest was like 1983. It was some military exercise in Europe. I was actually there at the time, and one Russian guy who was there, to check satellites or to see if there's any incoming nuclear missiles, that their computers saw that their nuclear missile had been launched to Russia from America, and he was like, yeah, if they're going to attack us, it's going to be more than one. This is the glitch in the system. And he didn't panic. He didn't retaliate with any nuclear missiles. That guy's a hero. I forget his name, but yeah, a lot of things done in my name. So obviously after the Bay of Pigs, American spy planes are flying over Cuba. We see that they're building missile silos or whatever the military bases so they can put their missiles aiming at us. And so that was the Cuban Missile Crisis and the blockade. And there was actually a night that everybody on the East Coast went to bed, not knowing if they were going to wake up or be annihilated overnight. I think it was, if you go back to 1939, the same guy, FDR, had 937 Jews were fled Hamburg, Germany, trying to get away. Because, when you see the writing on the wall, it's time to exit stage left. A lot of smart people got out. from underneath the Iron Curtain. I mean, nobody really sneaks into a communist country. And when you have a fascist Nazi government, even, like, oh, we're just going to fight communism. Okay, well, you're killing Jews. You're committing genocide. So 937 Jews got on the SS St. Louis and they went to Cuba, and Cuba's like, yeah, you're not getting off here. Sorry. I think one or two people may have had a Cuban passport. They were let off. They came to America. We had a quota. And the quota for that year of people from Germany was already full. And people were sending telegrams to the State Department from the SS St. Louis saying, listen, we're fleeing for our lives. We're not, coming here for better economic freedom or whatever. We are fleeing for our lives. And FDR like, nah, beat it. Luckily, some countries, I think England let some people in, France may have let some people in. Like 200 something of them did eventually die. That's a black stain on American history. What else? Hillary Clinton, Sidney Blumenthal, Barack Obama, what they did to Libya. Libya was the cork on the African bottle, and they popped it. And Europe was flooded with African and Arab refugees. And there was a tweet from a German State Department employee, like, come on in, so everybody just flooded. There was no more stopping it. Thousands of boats were coming. You can't even walk down the streets of Paris holding a cell phone in your hand anymore. It will get stolen. And the lady from Paris told me this when I was showing her parts of Boston and teaching her some history in Boston. I just bumped into her on the streets because I was doing my own historical tour of Boston. And so they wanted to get rid of Gaddafi because Gaddafi wanted to put a gold dinar. He wanted to put a new currency, a dinar, in Africa. He wanted to delink from the US dollar and oil and do their own African currency backed by gold. I don't know how many tons of gold he had, but let me back up real quick. Prior to this invasion of Libya, we had already dealt with this war in Iraq. That was another mistake. And I supported it at the time, but in retrospect, I didn't realize how dumb our government was and not knowing how to deal with these Muslim countries, and how there's better diplomatic ways to deal with things. Everything is just pound you with a hammer. Look, we got airplanes. Let's drop this military industrial complex. Let's all get rich and kill the guy who tried to kill my daddy. So what happened was, the sentiment in the streets in America was like, stop with these wars. So all of a sudden I get this email from my senator saying, hey, what do you think about us invading Libya? I'm like, are you guys nuts? Are you insane? And not only did I reply, I went to Jeanne Shaheen's office and I said, no, are you guys serious? And it turned out all the Congress people and senators had sent out this email, and the overwhelming response were like, no. So what did Blumenthal and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama do? They went to NATO and used some pretext to go ahead and just, go in and bomb Gaddafi. Well, Gaddafi at that time in Libya, free education, free healthcare, free electricity, next to nothing to pay for gasoline. Housing was a human right. Housing. I think Gaddafi at one time said he's not going to build a house for his mother until everybody in Libya had a house. He saved his oil revenue and bought gold. He had all this gold, enough to back his own currency, not a fiat currency, a currency backed by gold, money backed by gold. And they had discovered so much water underneath, like you can use whatever technology, sonar or whatever, to look for oil. And they found water, enough freshwater reserves underneath the sand in Libya. It must have been from the Ice Age. I don't know. That would rival the amount of water in the Great Lakes. And so Gaddafi was pumping this water out and built he had all these tubes, and he had rivers of water all over Libya, fresh water. Everything was going great. And then Obama went in, and Obama literally gets a Nobel Prize for, yeah. And now Europe is not even safe. The rape in Europe by these refugees is through the roof. You look at the percentage of rape prior to the cork being popped in Africa, prior to Obama and Hillary Clinton. I mean, and oh God, I can't even say that her name anymore. Joe Biden, open borders. We are never going to recover as a nation. You either are a nation or you are not a nation, and a nation is defined by its borders. We are no longer a nation. It's just a banana republic. All these government officials talking about defunding the police. That's done on my name. That's my name. You're representing me, and you want to like defund the police, and now it's not even safe. You go to Brooklyn. Why am I even making this video? Syria? Like, why did Obama get involved in Syria? Why was Hillary sending her people down into Libya to go recover all those weapons that NATO via America does what NATO, America is the tail that wags the NATO dog, and then we dropping all these weapons on these Eastern Libyan extremists, and then we're trying to funnel them, and then they funneled those weapons to Syria. I mean, this is Iran-Contra times 10, and further destabilize Syria by sending in. I mean, what are you going to do? You topple this regime in Syria. Who do you think is going to take over? The extremists, right? That's what happened in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood. On day one, I was like, no, Obama, you don't want to be praising. Fox News is like, yes, revolution in Egypt. I'm like, are you guys nuts? Do you know who's going to take over? The Muslim Brotherhood is the most organized organization in Egypt. You don't want them taking over. And of course they took over. I mean, it was day 3 before Fox News. Somebody finally called and said, hey, yo, you might want to ixnay on this is a good thing, I don't know. Sorry, it's kind of a downer. I love my country. I fly my flag every day. But the things that are being done in my name, I mean, these guys, Washington, D.C., they are ruining the greatest nation on earth. Literally. It's almost as if it's not by design, what's going on? If it's by design, why? I don't get it. I'll try to make a positive video next time. See ya.